So we got to talk about this major situation that is happening in California that has to do with gas, okay? But before we get to that, I do want to get into how low these gas prices are actually getting right now before we get into the meat and potatoes and what's actually going on in California. So with that being said, let's dive in.
Good news, if you're filling up your car on the way to work this morning, gas prices are at their lowest level in more than 4 years. Transportation correspondent Gil Benitez is here with more. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, it's also great news when it comes time to hit the road for the holidays, and the majority of us will drive to our destinations. So let's look at that national average right now, because the price of regular unleaded has dropped by 5 cents just in the last week, now standing at $2.90 per gallon. It's the lowest level in over 4 years since May 2021. That's down 17 cents from a month ago, 7 cents lower than a year ago. So here are the states with the lowest average prices. Oklahoma at $2.30, Colorado and Texas as well. The states with the highest average prices, California at $4.41, Hawaii and Washington. So why is this all happening? Well, crude oil prices are down, and so is demand. We've also switched to the cheaper winter blend, so take advantage now, because those prices will rise again as we start heading into spring.
Of course they will.
Yeah.
All right. but there's some news for families if you're going to the airport.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. The Department of Transportation, they announced $1 billion in funding to...
Yeah, we opened the Fox 31 video hall today to find that story. This was June of 2001. Drivers complaining about gas prices at the time hovering around $1.70 or $1.80 a gallon. Tonight, we're finding that again. Our crews spotted one gas station, this one near Evans in Quebec, advertising $1.69 a gallon, and this time drivers are not complaining at all. Fox 31's Anna Kuhn with what's behind it.
Gas is $1.69 a gallon right now at the Quick Trip on the corner of East Evans and South Monaco Street. That's the cheapest price you'll find across the state, according to Gas Buddy, and also one of the cheapest in the entire country.
There was a long wait line at a Denver Shell station this afternoon on the corner of East Evans and South Quebec Street.
It's surprising to see the lines. I've never seen this line before.
All those drivers looking to fill up the tank at just $1.69 a gallon.
Since I've learned to drive, I don't know if I've ever seen prices that low.
Yeah, we opened the Fox 31 video hall today to find that story.
Since she's learned to drive, she's never seen prices that low. Amazing. Amazing. Now we got to get into the meat and potatoes of this, because while most of the country is experiencing record low gas prices, or at least over the past 4 years. Kind of interesting how that works, you know, because somebody else was in office. Anyway, kind of interesting how that works. But while everybody else is experiencing a drop in gas prices, California is actually going in the opposite direction. Yeah. You remember that thing called the Green New Scam? It's coming back to bite them. Check it out.
Valero just wrote off $1.1 billion. That is the cost they are taking to walk away from California, rather than keep operating their Benicia refinery past April 2026. When a company takes $1 billion loss just to leave, you know something is seriously broken. This facility processes 145,000 barrels of oil per day, representing 8.6% of California's entire gasoline production. 400 workers have lost their jobs. 200 contractors are out of work. The city of Benicia loses 17% of its entire budget. And California drivers, they are about to get hammered with the worst gas prices in American history. University of California Davis economists calculate a 40 cents per gallon increase the moment Phillips 66 closes their Los Angeles refinery this December. Then another 81 cents when Valero shuts down 4 months later in April. That totals a $1.21 per gallon increase by August 2026. Your 15-gallon fill-up jumps from $70 to at least $95. The Stanford Energy Institute came up with even worse projections. They are showing potential spikes to $8 per gallon during supply disruptions. UC Berkeley's Severin Borenstein, who has been tracking California energy markets for decades, warns these closures could create severe gasoline shortages with unprecedented price increases. Here's the timeline that's about to wreck California's fuel supply. In December 2025, Phillips 66 in Wilmington closes. 139,000 barrels per day are lost. In April 2026, Valero in Benicia closes. 145,000 barrels per day are lost. In just 4 months, California loses 284,000 barrels of daily refining capacity, 17% of the state's total production. To understand the disaster unfolding, you need to know about CARBOB, California Reformulated Gasoline Blend Stock for Oxygenate Blending. This is not regular gasoline. It is a specialized ultra-clean burning fuel mandated by California law. Refineries in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana do not make it. You cannot just truck in regular unleaded from Arizona and call it a day. Only a handful of refineries worldwide have the equipment to produce CARBOB. These facilities are in South Korea, India, and a couple in Singapore. That is basically your entire global supply chain for California-specific gasoline outside the state itself. When 17% of in-state production disappears, those Asian refineries become California's gas stations. The logistics are a nightmare. Tanker ships carrying gasoline take 30 to 40 days crossing the Pacific Ocean. The fuel you pump into your car in March was loaded onto a ship in January. Any disruption in that supply chain, whether a storm, equipment failure, or a spike in Asian demand, can leave California without gas. California Energy Commission data shows the state already hit record imports in May 2025, 210,000 barrels per day. That is before losing these two refineries. Stillwater Associates, an energy consulting firm, projects California will need to import 30% of all gasoline by late 2026. Nearly 1 out of every 3 gallons will come from overseas. For comparison, the rest of America imports less than 5% of finished gasoline. The infrastructure literally cannot handle this surge. Beniциa's port facilities take 4 to 5 days to unload a single 300,000 barrel tanker. That is only 60 to 75,000 barrels per day of unloading capacity, about half what the refinery currently produces. Converting the facility to a dedicated import terminal would require new pipelines, storage tanks, and harbor improvements, taking years to complete. Richmond's Kinder Morgan terminal could theoretically handle more imports, but it is already operating near capacity. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach have their own constraints.
So you get the picture there. I wanted to let that play for a while so you guys got the full of what's actually happening there. I mean, it is an entire mess. You know, we got to get the clean fuel. Although like barely anybody makes it, right? It costs more. And 2, but then also I should say, you're not even drilling yourself for the oil because it's bad for the environment. So instead, you have tankers, big ships come from across the planet, all the way across the ocean, burning all types of fuel to bring you fuel because I'm just, these liberals make 0 cents. 0 cents. It's bad for the environment to dig, but I'm going to ship it. So I'm going to burn gas to get gas, but it's bad to dig for gas. I'll just get it from somebody else who's digging for it. I'm just, or drilling for it, whatever. Anybody else confused? Because that doesn't make any sense to me. It makes absolutely 0 sense. Now, I want to get into what Gavin Newsom is trying to do about this. Because of course, he's gonna try to run for president, and he knows that this is going to look really terrible when gas prices are $8 a gallon in his state under his leadership. So he's scrambling, but I think it's just too little, too late.
California's energy debate is shifting fast. Governor Newsom, once a fierce critic of big oil, is now looking for ways to keep refineries open and boost in-state drilling. With 2 major closures looming, what does it mean for gas prices, climate goals, and consumers?
Joining us now is Catherine Reheis-Boyd, President and CEO of the Western States Petroleum Association. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So just most important things we got to know in terms of where are we at, what do these refinery closures mean, and give us a landscape.
So the 2 refinery closures that everybody's been referring to really caught people's attention. And the reason being, we cannot afford to lose any more. We're of the entire world, we're the 3rd largest consumer of gasoline as a state. And the only ones in front of us, United States of America and China. So we consume a lot of gasoline. We cannot have refineries close and limit the ability to provide fuel to Californians. So why did these two refineries get everybody's attention? That's 20% of the fuel supply of the state. So what happened is in April, the governor got interested in this topic and said, I'm worried, and Energy Commission, go figure it out. That response came back to the governor and pointed out certain actions that have to be taken, and those are now going to be considered in the next 30 days. So you
Oh my goodness. Those actions were going to be considered. Yeah. Liberal policies are absolutely garbage. Actions are going to be considered when your gas is about to go to $8 a gallon. Talk about being bold as a politician. Yeah, that's pretty damn bold. You're going to make your constituents pay nearly $8 a gallon for gas, and you're just like, yeah, we'll consider some things to lower these gas prices. We'll just consider them. Okay, all right. Y'all must got a pretty good voting operation going on out there in California. They must not be too worried about re-election in California. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like to me. Because $8 a gallon is crazy. Crazy. $8 a gallon is just absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. But that's what liberal policies get you. This whole Green New Scam stuff, it's coming back to bite the Democrats in the butt. And I'm so entertained. This is the funniest stuff in the world, watching Gavin Newsom flounder around like a fish out of water, trying to figure this thing out last minute because he wants to run for president, even though he gets on television and says, yeah, no, I'm not even considering it. I'm the governor, like, you know, the whole political speak that Democrats always do. It's so annoying. It's clearly obvious what's happening. Because for a long time, you didn't care that you had high gas prices in California. But now all of a sudden you care. Interesting how that works. But y'all get in the comments and let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. Do you think they'll figure it out? Let me know. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.